offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan. We'll start on your left with Mike and then go to Zach O.
Yeah, Mike. In terms of Curtis Rourke, when you scouted him and watched him on film and brought him in, now getting to work with him for like 6 months, is there anything that you've seen from him and what kind of coach him hands-on that surprised you or you weren't expecting from what you saw on film?
No, I don't think so. I think he's pretty much the guy that we've seen on tape, and he's doing his best to continue to grow and improve. And Coach Sinceri has done a great job with him, just obviously teaching him the nuances of the offense, and not only the scheme on the surface level, but the true nuances within each play. And I think you just see him continue to get better and better. And he's worked on his body this offseason, and I think he made another step in that direction over the summer as well.
Zach on your left and then Todd.
I was going to ask Coach Haynes this too, but you've both been with Coach Cignetti for a while. I know assistant coaching tends to be, kind of a profession where you bounce around a lot. What has kind of kept you with Coach Cignetti? What is, when he's moved from stop to stop, what's made it the right decision for you to stay with him?
Yeah, well, I really enjoy working with him and working for him. He's a guy who I've learned a lot from since 2016, my first job with him at IUP, coaching the receivers, and just continue to learn. And I feel like I get pushed every single day to be the best that I can be. And he does a good job of, bringing every person in the building is, somebody that has high character and fun to be around, and it makes coming to work every day very enjoyable, whether it's with the coaches, the players, anybody on the staff. So. It's kind of no-brainer for me.
Stay on your left with Todd, and then we'll go to Matt.
Mike, kind of filling in on that same theme, was there a moment since 2016 where, you had that moment where you really felt like you clicked with Coach Cignetti? And also, how do your offensive philosophies kind of run in tandem with his after he's been an offensive coach for his career? How's that kind of meshed over your time with him?
Yeah, to answer your first question, can you give me your first question again?
Yeah, but is there a moment that you realize that this is the guy you wanted to kind of get your start to?
I got you. No, there's not one particular moment. I feel like we've been through a couple different spots, different schools, different levels, and I think naturally when he kept continuing to climb, a goal of mine was to coach at this level, and so whenever he presented the opportunity, I jumped on it right away, and to answer your question, second question, I just felt like we do mesh and see the game the same way. We have the same core principles and values, the things that you've heard him speak about. But also when it comes to, scheme or fundamentals, X's and O's, we're definitely aligned, and everybody in our offensive staff room is aligned.
We'll go second row on your right to Matt.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, everybody's talked a lot about Donovan. The transfers you brought in at receiver. I'm curious about what you've seen from Omar Cooper, just kind of the development he's had, the progress he's made, and like how big of a role you think he can have on your receiver core this fall.
Yeah, Coop's done a good job. He's especially here this week. He's put some good days together. He's a guy that has a lot of ability. He has great hands, good body control, and I've moved him around to a few different positions, and that's accelerated his learning a little bit. And I think in the long run that's going to help him out. But, he's a guy who I just kind of try to keep my thumb on and, want to make sure that he's doing every little detail right. He really responds to that. And, he does a good job for the most part when the ball comes his way, making the play.
Jack on your left and then Seth.
With some of the receivers that you added in the portal, I know you worked with Elijah before, but with Price, Williams, I guess Cross, what kind of stood out to you with those guys when you were recruiting them in the portal, and what have you liked about what they've done since working with them here?
Yeah, well, number one, they all are high character guys, guys that are positive influences. They always come ready to work. They've done a good job to get to know the other guys in our room that were here and everybody else on the team. So they're guys that have really good chemistry and just bring good positive energy. That's first and foremost. And through the recruiting process, they're all guys that have been very productive, have caught a lot of passes, scored touchdowns, played in big atmospheres, and have kind of proven to do it over their 2, 3, 4 years in college. So, you guys heard Coach Signetti say before, production over potential, and then combined with their character, it's been a really good thing for our whole room and the team.
Standing left with Seth, and we'll go to Mike S.
Mike, just in the running back room, what do you feel like you have in those guys there? Is there, and I guess, has any sort of pecking order started to emerge among the kind of, the main three? And I guess, do you prefer to kind of whittle that down as the season goes along, or are you comfortable working a whole season with the committee?
Yeah, well, I think we've learned, especially these past few years at JMU, that you got to have a lot of running backs ready to go, just with some of the collisions that they take, the hits that start to add up on them throughout the season. I think our room in general, they're all pretty similar. They do a good job, obviously, running the ball. They're good in pass pro, and they can catch the ball out of the backfield too. So a lot of similarities with most of them. And then you got a guy like Solomon Van Horst, who is a little bit unique with his skill set compared to the rest. But we still got a few practices left going into the second scrimmage. I think that's something that's going to lead into the season, and then week to week, who's practicing the best, and I think that competition may never really end until after the season.
We'll go on your right to Mike, and then to Pete.
Yeah, Coach, with so many receivers in your room that have put up a lot of numbers, a lot of production throughout their careers, do you feel like you have a unique challenge with this group to kind of manage expectations and, kind of keep everybody happy?
Well, I understand there's only one ball to go around, and all those guys, want to make plays and have an impact. So, we're going to do our best to create rules, and whenever we maybe call a certain play that, certain guys in there for some things. But I think the benefit we're going to have is we're going to be able to roll guys. And instead of having to play 70, 75 plays in a game where some of these guys may have done either here or at other places, they may not have to do that, and we can get 45, 50, however many plays out of them at their top level. And I think in the long run, it's going to all work itself out.
We'll go to Pete, third row on your left, and then we'll go to Daniel.
Coach, what specifically are you looking for from McCulley? What are you seeing? What do you need to see?
Donovan's done a really good job here in fall camp. He's locked in the meeting room. He's taking notes, asking questions. On the field, he is still, developing into a complete receiver. I know he came here as a quarterback, and he's only been doing it for a couple of years now. And some of it's a little bit new, and maybe the way we're teaching it is a little bit new than what he's used to in the past. But I told him this, and I tell all the guys this in our room, if you play with effort, we're going to have a great chance. And he's giving great effort on the field. It may not be perfect. It may not be exactly how you want it. But I can work with that. Any of us coaches, we can work with that. And, he's continuing to get better each and every day.
Daniel, then Jared.
Yeah, Mike, you mentioned, the various stops that you followed Signetti from Elon, JMU here. What is it about the way that you all approach trying to establish, a mantra, establish relationships that you kind of feel breeds early wins?
Yeah, I think Coach just keeps it, he just keeps the main thing. He's all about winning. In his messaging is all about doing things that will help you have success on the field. And I think whether it's handling adversity or success, just creating that mindset that you need to have to go into a game and give yourself a chance to win. And then along with the football side of it is, doing the things that you need to do to win games. So, I think he and all of us, we just want to preach that to the kids and get those guys to buy in, and they have.
We'll go to Jared on your left, and then last one to Mike.
Your relationship with Tino goes back to your playing days. Just what's it been like kind of working with him through all the years and watching him develop these IU quarterbacks?
Yeah, it's been great. Tino and I, we've known each other for a long time. And I was, in his wedding last year and everything else. So we definitely have a great personal relationship and also working relationship. At the end of the day, he's with the quarterbacks, every single minute of the day right now, and then in season, he's going to be getting those guys ready to go. So I rely on him a lot with what they like and how they want to do things. And it's been a lot of fun here, and I feel like I've known a lot of guys on our staff just as well as Tino at this point now with some of the relationships that we've been able to carry over from other spots too. So it's been fun.
Last one to Mike, second row on your left.
Yeah, Elijah Surratt, last year obviously had a breakout year. Did you see that coming? And what about his kind of development last year helped him sort of kind of take off at that level? And how has he kind of continued that growth here now at Indiana?
Yes, a lot of people probably don't know this, but he was on the third string last year at the beginning of fall camp. He was, he was kind of coming back from an injury he sustained in the spring, and so to say we expected what he did, might be a little, maybe not the best way to put it, but what I did see from him early on was his football IQ. He picked up the playbook a lot. He loves football. He's a competitor. And, he just kind of stuck with it. And whenever his moments came in the games and starting with practice, he took advantage of them. And then he was just very consistent. And you kind of knew exactly what you were going to get out of him. And he really rose to the occasion. So I do think he has taken another step. I mean, his body has really changed over the last year. Credit to Coach Owings and his staff. But Elijah's bought into the nutrition part, the recovery. And he needs to continue to do that to, obviously keep injuries down, but also give him the best chance to play a little bit higher competition here in the Big Ten.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.